This your boy Daniel, LionsDen Evans, and you are live inside the den, and the next episode starts right now.
May I introduce myself?
Welcome to the pride.
Welcome to the pride.
See the fire in my eyes, yeah. Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Just tell me if it's real.
Hey. What a time, what a time. What a time for a black man to be alive. Living in the struggle while trying to keep our composure. Killing each other while trying to look for that exposure. We all just want to make it, we should do it as a team. Build each other up and they can't even say a thing. Me and all my brothers just stuck together like glue. It's us against the world and you know what we finna do. Woo! Pop a bottle, we in here for celebration. We just wanna be the leaders that's pushing the generation. Take a seat and find your zone for the topic of conversation. Find a way for a positive revelation. Now this really ain't the time to be thinking about yourself, cause we just a bunch of hustlers that's trying to give out some help. We turn the Cubs into Lions inside of the den. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just wanna win. Ay.
As always, this is a live, unrehearsed, unscripted show, and we have in the studio today Mr. Dr. Terrence Graham. How you doing, brother?
The LionsDen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Made it to the LionsDen.
Yes, sir. You made it to the LionsDen. Man, we just be vibing in here, man, just chilling out, man, and I'm humbled, man. I'm grateful that you would even take the time out to come out, man. Cause just before we get started, tell everybody, man, who you are and what you do for a living, brother.
I'm Dr. Terrence Graham. I'm the owner of 5 Foot Productions, a film company that I started in 2013 with my kids, William Graham, Xavier Graham, Brianna Graham, and my brother Eric Graham. And also the owner of Graham Moore and Clark LLC, Addiction, Behavioral and Biblical Counseling. It's a private practice out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I started that private practice in 2008. We serve adolescents, adults, and families dealing with behavior issues and substance abuse.
That's awesome, brother. This man has a laundry list of accolades that he do, and it's crazy because I actually met Dr. Terrence Graham at his movie premiere for his latest movie, Dumpster Diving. I was a guest of Miss Cheryl, filmmaker Davis, is one of my business partners, one of my mentors in the film industry. You know, Dr. Terrence Graham actually inspired me to work on a independent film, and we're going to be doing some work together in the future.
Awesome.
And so just seeing that movie, man, seeing that and meeting you in that limelight, man, really motivated me, man. But give us some backstory on how did you come up with the concept for the movie Dumpster Diving, brother?
So Dumpster Diving, the concept was about toxic relationships. So a friend of mine, we was discussing how many bad relationships we've been in since high school. Mm-hmm. So at my age, you've been in a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it's multiple relationships. And this would have been my 6th film. So we was like, what type of film that would address male toxic relationships versus female toxic relationships? So the premise of the film is to identify characters in the Bible, like King David, Adam and Eve, and Cain and Abel. How can we identify toxic relationships within the stories of the Bible and implement it to individuals today? So that's the premise of the film. And then also try to find a way where it can be an equal balance in the film. So we don't want a female-dominated movie complain about men and their relationship with men. So we try to find an equal balance where it'll be men versus women, and come up with a concept where it can be equally balanced. So with that being said, we started with the Adam and Eve story. And once we did, we said, all right, we're gonna start with Adam and Eve, but we're gonna finish with King David. That's the backstory. in between the lines of the story, who are we going to identify as our subject matter? So as a therapist, I'm pretty good at, okay, come up with a concept. With toxic relationships, that's okay. Where you use real life testimony, right? So first, like people that I know that have been through some things that were shared with me, I identify them, say, hey, do you mind sharing this story on camera? Now the thing with that is, I did a film previously called The Cycle. It was about generational curses. So one of the generational curses was toxic relationships. So I try to keep my cast, each film has a new cast, but I do have my main players that's gonna film me forever. So my main cast is like, all right, I know some of your stories, if you mind sharing your story, because each film has its own storyline, but some of the stories go together. The Cycle, Generation Curses, Toxic Relationship. Basically, Dumpster Guy was the continuation of the Cycle. Right. So once I identify a few, then I went on social media and, you know, put some fillers out there if anyone's in a toxic relationship, if they don't mind sharing these stories on camera. So I ended up flying out to California, Houston, Texas, Florida, DC, all over North Carolina, just meeting different people I've never met before, and just hearing their testimony. So just to have people trust you with their stories, that's powerful.
Yes, it is.
Right? They never met me, they only know me through social media, and what I do, I let them see my previous film, The Cycle, which was on Amazon Prime. And matter of fact, The Cycle did 976,000 streams. I'm sorry, 976,000 streaming minutes. But that alone gave me some credibility. Like, hey, I know what I'm doing. You just gotta trust me. And if you want this platform to share your story, and most of individuals in the film, they either have books out, or they have podcasts, or they have some type of unique platform where they want to promote within the film. So everyone has some type of buy-in during the film. So you're gonna benefit, if you want your message out, you're gonna benefit by being in this movie.
Okay.
So I call my films docu-films because I shoot it as a documentary, but also it's because of the storyline, it's a film. So, because there's always a backstory. So as you saw the film, it'll take you down this journey. You're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, okay. So imagine a reality show, just like we're doing tonight, and you shoot all your scenes in a different location, but your testimony is like right here. That would make it a documentary piece.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting, man, because like I said, when I saw the movie, it definitely motivated me to want to do a project and tell my own story from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for the inspiration. And the next question was, what kind of doctor are you? But you already explained you're a therapist.
Right.
And so how did you get started in this particular session?
All right, so being a therapist, let me go back. So when I was in high school, well, probably, we call it junior high, I'm older, middle school, junior high. I always was good at an active listener. So I always had girls tell me about their boyfriends, always calling me on the phone, sharing their breakup stories. And I'm the guy that's gonna listen, because I'm trying to find an angle how to get in next.
How to get in.
Yeah, how to get in. Like, okay, I'm not gonna do what he did, so I'm gonna do it this way. So I became a good listener, and also a good talker, also a good spitter, because I'm getting in, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get in there.
Yeah.
So that transpired over to dudes started calling me talking about their girls. So I got both sides. I'm an active listener. When it was time to decide a college, I wanted to go to North Carolina A&T. My cousin Glenn Ortado, rest in peace, he went to A&T a year ahead of me. He was a psychology major. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go to A&T and study psychology, because my mom had put me down for a communication major. which I should have done as well. But my brother ended up being a communication major. So get the A&T psychology major, and I'm meeting all these great professors and the study of the human mind and the human behavior. I said, I like this. Plus, I got these active listening skills, and the way we were set up at A&T, we had to do presentations every day. So we take a theory or a subject matter, we had to present it from the class. That's our grade. That was our test. So you do it so much, you get good at it. So once I graduated with my bachelor's degree in psychology, they always told me you got to have an additional degree to work in this field, which I proved that theory wrong. So I started working at Charter Hospital in Gifford County Mental Health, and I also was a school teacher. So all these people out here have multiple streams of income, right? So I worked real hard in my film, and I was encouraged to go to grad school by one of my dear friends, Nikki McCullum. She was in grad school at A&T working on her master's in counseling. So I decided to get my master's in agency counseling. And once again, when I was in grad school, all we did was present. So, man, this is where it is, talking in front of people like you do as a public speaker and a motivational speaker, and learning human behavior and just dealing with people's problems and issues, so you get good at it. So I decided after I graduated, I worked at Wake County Human Services. And with Wake County Human Services, I was a school-based therapist, school-based mental health therapist. So I'm a therapist that would go into the schools and talk to the kids, referred by the school counselors and the school social workers. Did that for like 13 years. Then I was like, okay, things happened, we got laid off, and I had to go into the private sector, which was when I started my private practice in 2008. And once you get in your private practice, you have to get a niche. What's going to separate me versus you as a life coach or a therapist? What's going to make me different? So I write children's books. So I started writing these children's books with my brother, this character called Bobby B. the Hater, which is my oldest son. So we just made a cartoon character of my son. So, and me being a child therapist, I use those books in therapy and treatment. So, and mind you, this was 2000, we started writing the books in 2006. So, private practice 2008. So I'm ahead of my time. So I'm like a dinosaur, but yet I'm still innovating because I started this stuff before social media. So it was just me, this guy, a therapist, just writing children's books, so it was just word of mouth. So only certain people in the field knew, what my talents were. But I set a niche for myself, and I just based my private practice off of my skill set. So that's what separated me from other therapists. So, which the books turned into a movie. The first film I did with my brother, Bobby B. the Hater, which is based off the book. And that was the first movie. We did okay. That was the learning curve. Learning how to write a script, learning how to score a film, editing a movie. All those things, but as you practice, as you build your craft, as you get better, the film started getting better. And then once the film started getting better, the content started getting better. Yeah. And now, I feel like if I had a budget, oh boy.
You'd be off the chain, huh?
I can make something powerful because I have the team, I have the belief system. Like, hey, Terrence ain't gonna put no junk out. Terrence gonna take his time, and the content is there, and the films are gonna inspire you, enhance you, to make you feel great. Even though some of the content may be depressing at times, but it's always a learning curve. And 5 Foot Productions, we are, man, it's amazing the journey, because people laugh at you when you do things outside the box. People they like, man, who told you to do that? Yeah. Who allowed you to do that? Yeah. And, or are you making any money? That's the question you get. Well, if you ain't making the money, why you doing it? But see, that's the thing. Money's already there. It ain't about the dollar figure. It's the pointing the value of other people and enhancing other, meeting you based off of film I wrote on notebook paper. All these films talking about the process, writing my journal. All right, what I want to talk about, boom, boom, boom. writing notebook paper, and you're taking this, and you're taking this, and next thing you got this big journal of all these ideas. And with me, if I write it down, I'm gonna do it. Mm-hmm. It's a done deal. If I put it on paper, it's done.
It's done.
It's done.
Done.
Done. I did a documentary on my childhood barber, Becky the Barber. This guy cut 4 generations of hair. My childhood barber cut my dad's hair. He cut everybody's hair in the community. I did his documentary. That man broke down crying. Saying nobody ever did anything like that for him. 90-some years old. He's still living. I put his whole life on screen. Nobody ever even thought about him. He's legendary. Nobody ever thought about putting his story on film. And once I did that and I saw the response, I said, see, documentaries. But now, everywhere you go, everybody doing documentaries.
Yeah, they are.
I was one of the first.
The pioneer.
For an independent filmmaker, I was one of the first.
Yeah, so you're a pioneer in the independent filmmaking for documentaries. And when people try to, put you in a box.
Right.
And you don't do it for the money, you do it for the love.
For the love.
The money will come.
It's gonna come.
Because you're doing it for a passion. This is your work. This is an extension of your therapy is in these movies. And when you watch this movie, if you're dealing with that issue, that's gonna help. So it's like free therapy session. Watch this movie.
That's true. You know what I'm saying? That's what everyone says. Like, I feel like I was in a real live therapy session.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's one of those things, and that's a gift, man. Everybody's not able to put that together like that. You have to be really gifted and be able to know, okay, how can I? So you're always trying to find easier ways to do your craft and do your profession. So how can I do a massive therapy session at the same time? Yep. Boom. Movie. Everybody gonna be tuned in. They're gonna be locked in. And if they got anything put on their heart, tugging on their heart, it's effective.
That's right. And I'm glad you said that because, like I said, each movie has a different cast, right? But the thing about the cast, they never meet each other until the night of the premiere. Mm-hmm. So they see each other on social media, like, oh, I didn't know there was a person, I didn't know there was in the movie. But once they get together, then it's like, wow. Now we become a family, and we forever tied
by this movie,
by this film. We be forever united by this film. So if I've done 6 films, that's 6 different families, right? But because of social media, Graham and Clark LLC, if you want to refer to me for therapy, individual therapy, my number is 919-710-7332. Just give me a call if you want me to do substance abuse treatment or any behavioral therapy. Also, my email address is gmccounseling@yahoo.com. Email me if you have any questions about treatment. Also, I'm an SAP, substance abuse provider for the Department of Transportation. So therefore, if you are a truck driver out here and you failed your drug screen, please give me a call. I will get your CDLs back. It shares that memory, then it brings it all back. Like, oh man, 2 years ago we was on set. Oh, 6 years ago we did this film. And so, social media always keeps you in the loop of what you've done, what you've accomplished. So.
Now, do you ever find yourself wanting to do like a collaboration of all 6 films combined with all the people you've worked with over the past 6 films and like say, let's do something it can involve, like you said, 6 different families, do something with all the different families that you've worked with can come and do on one. Have you thought about something like that?
Once that film is done, it's on to the next.
On to the next.
That's yours. The next film, whole different cast. I might bring 1 or 2 with me. It depends, because again, it really depends on your performance in the previous film.
But you get called back to that.
If you get called back to the next one, right? So the next film I'm working on is a stand-up comedy film with Terry. She's one of the stars of Dumpster Diving. So remember, she's the comedian.
Remember her?
So that's the next film. It's gonna feature her.
Okay.
Docu-film, stand-up comedy. She's gonna do her one-woman show. Terry, I'm waiting on you. Stop playing. It's your time. Come on, let's go. It's your time.
That's awesome, man. Because I actually I made some friends with some comedians. They invited me to their podcast or radio show. Okay. And I definitely had I was kind of intimidated at first because I'm like, I'm in a room with some real comedians. People call me funny. Right. You know what I mean? I can make my people laugh. But when you get too funny, everybody else is like, ah. But I felt comfortable because I was able to hold my own in a room, with some comedians. So I'm going to be inviting, those comedians to come on the show. So you got a female we got a female and a male. Tell the female holler at me. So I'm gonna get you in contact with her. Tell her her name is Queen Aaliyah. She's on video. Okay. You know her? I've heard of her. She's the one that invited me to her show. So she's a comedian. So maybe she can work with you on this next film. Because I need opening act. Okay. That'll be right up her alley. Hey, I need opening act. So Queen Aaliyah. There's a call out for you to get some work in, so I'll be getting in contact with you. Dr. Terrence is going to be getting in contact with you for some upcoming work. Okay. So let's talk about these books, man. Bobby B. the Hater. All right, so In the Mind of Bobby B. the Hater, this is a book that my brother and I wrote back in 2006. It's available on Amazon, Arthur House, Walmart, I think. But you can just Google it and you can find it. Now, this book is about at the time, my 10-year-old son, William Graham, and the name Bobby B. the Hater comes from Bobby Brown the Hater. So if y'all guys remember, Bobby Brown said he was the king of R&B, the king of the stage. Mm-hmm. And Usher challenged him on it, right? Mm-hmm. Bobby Brown gets mad. So he started hating. So we call him Bobby Brown the Hater. We just slashed it Bobby B. the Hater. Okay. And hater stands for his anger teaches everybody reality. So the first book, and it's a series of books. So that's the first one, and then this is the last one. But In the Mind of Bobby the Hater, it's just a coming of age story about my son and how he had to deal with his anger after getting cut from the basketball team. So your son was the one that he was in the movie Designz, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's my oldest son. That was a really touching testimony at the end that you had to, and I'm not going to give it away. Right. That was something. I know that takes courage and a certain type of confidence to be able to do that. Yes. In front of the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. I owe that to them because as a therapist, you never want to do therapy on your own kids. Yeah. Right? But I wanted them to understand, like, I heard you. I heard all the, I don't want to say complaints, but I heard the frustration because I wasn't with their mother while they was growing up. But like I said, that night I chose me. No marriage or no relationship is going to define me. I chose to be a father versus being a husband. Mm-hmm. And I'm a great father. My oldest son, William, he graduated from A&T with his bachelor's and master's degree. He works at Shaw University. My youngest son, Xavier, he graduated from A&T, and now he's in grad school getting his MBA. And my daughter, she graduated from Howard University, and she lives in Los Angeles, California as a nurse, registered nurse. So by me choosing to be a father, it gave me the tools to enhance them academically, mentally, physically, just to show them like, hey, I don't have to be with your mom to give you a good life. Mm-hmm. And every event I was there, every basketball game was there, every graduation I was there. I mean, I was living in DC, and I was driving down to Winston-Salem every other weekend. So I did that for years. And then I moved back to North Carolina, so hey, I wasn't in the home with them on a day-to-day basis, but they saw me all the time. And they would tell you, my dad was there. So once I've always wanted to incorporate them in my business aspects. So, well, they lied over there, ain't they?
I always want to incorporate them. So when I started 5 Foot Productions, I did it with my kids.
Yeah.
You know, and 5 Foot Production come for all of us 5'7". Okay. So because we said we do 5 Foot Production. That's also a shout out to the 5-footer from Tribe Quest, Fife, and Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One. So all y'all hip hop fans, 5 Foot Productions, that's where the name came from. So
let me ask you a question. Now this is, this show, Inside the Den, when I started this, it was during the pandemic.
oh yeah.
And I realized, as a counselor, as a life coach, there was a time where people was depressed.
Absolutely.
Secretly. Someone was depressed openly.
Yeah.
And for my brothers, man, black men, we don't really believe in a whole lot of therapy.
Right.
But we can sit around over a beer and some drinks, and we can just let our problems dissipate, smoke or whatever. And so how do we get to a point we can actually make talking cool without it being judgmental and everything? So I started the show, man, Inside the Den, as a way to, it's like this is the man cave. We write men and talk. And I realized during that time that I was actually talking to men about certain topics and certain points in his life, it became therapeutic for me as well, because I was going through some things. And so when I bring people like you on the show, man, that's got some really, some huge credibility. This brother is doing awesome things in the community. I'm so humbled for him to even come and spend some time with me. But talk to the men for a minute. When you was going through your decision to go through your divorce, because we have some people that's tuning in right now. We got people in the background that's going through separation, divorce, and things like that, and their kids are being caught up in the turmoil. What is your advice, or explain to me how was the process for you to make that decision to divorce your wife but still remain a relevant father in your kids' life? Because you made this, like you say, you chose you, right? Give me that, man. What that look like, man, and just talk to my brothers, man, that's going through something similar, that you can help them make a decision without feeling guilty and all this type of stuff for the decision.
Outstanding question. So with me, I've always chose education. So as I was telling Daniel, my kids are highly educated, degreed up, whatever, very successful in life. That was what I wanted to instill in them, because I divorced when they were young. So when I say I chose me, I was in grad school, and once I graduated, I said, okay, this relationship is not going to benefit me on a day-to-day basis. So when I say I chose me, choosing to be a father, I said I need to make money. It was financially, I had to be able to provide. I'm a provider. So you got to think about with three children, you're like, okay, it's going to be tough on me either way. Mm-hmm. But choosing me meaning, all right, I'm degreed up, I have a career. The best way to financially support them is to work multiple jobs. And when I say this, I didn't get to go to Cancun. I didn't get to go to Brazil or the Bahamas. I sacrificed all that to take care of my kids. So you're going to have to make some sacrifices, but if you can provide financially, and if you can provide stability for those kids and your ex-wife, because again, once you get a divorce, it's all financial, right? If you don't have any income coming in, you can't take care of your kids. You can't take care of your kids, you're not going to be able to see them. And that's just the bottom line. So me being there financially allowed me to see my kids often, right? But there was times where I would work, and again, I'm in a career. I have a career, but I was still working 4-5 different jobs, right? Multiple streams of income. So the kids didn't miss a beat. But what my son told me, that he didn't care about the money. He just wanted my time. He just wanted my time, right? So again, go to Brazil with my frat brothers, go to Cancun. No, never did any of that. My time was, if I had a break, I'm in North Carolina with my kids. On the holidays, I'm picking my kids up I'm taking to my mother's house to spend time with my mom and my brother. So it was always incorporated, and a lot of people didn't understand because then it was no social media. So I didn't go through that, posting pictures. I didn't do none of that because there wasn't no social media. Mm-hmm. But the people that know, they said that dude was there because going back to the men, you have to have a network of people that you trust. There was times that I couldn't go see my kids. I would call my frat brother Dwayne Lewis. I said, yo man, go to Winston and get my kids for me. Or do this for me. And to this day, he's still involved in my kids' life. Or I would call when my grandmother was living. My grandmother would go get my kids and put them on the bus, and they would come to DC and see me. So I had that network because, again, like my son said, he just wanted the time. As he got older and he started getting angry, because again, now going back to the financial piece, that child support is real.
Oh yeah.
So if you can't pay, the system's gonna lock you up. They don't care if you spend time with your kids. Mm-hmm. They don't care if you're tired, and they just want to make sure that money's paid, right? So what I end up doing is just like, I gotta figure this thing out. I said, because one day they're older, mm-hmm. and I don't have to worry about the financial piece, but I want that conversation. So then what I did was I started making these movies to tell because every film is really about me. Yeah. But I use some kind of way. I just use other people as their subject matter and do their testimony within mine. But each film, I was apologizing to my children for not being with their mother.
So let me ask you this. So do you regret trading the time for the finances, or trading the time for being able to support them financially? Because I know that, when entrepreneurs, my brother, go through the same thing. I go through some issues where we're so goal-driven, and we have a responsibility as a man, right, to take care of the family. And as kids, they don't understand none of that. All they know is either my daddy's here or my daddy's not here.
Right.
And one day those kids gonna have to be able to say, look, I didn't like it because I don't care about the money, but they don't understand the importance of money. So do you have any regrets on trading the money for the time? Or if you had to go back and do it again, what would be your decision, or would you change anything?
All right, so I've never said this publicly, so I'm gonna be very transparent. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have got a divorce, right? But I was angry. I was angry to the point where I just felt like, hey, I didn't spend I didn't get all this to get all these degrees, but I'm arguing every day about nothing, right? Now that at 52 years old, I can say, man, the stuff we was arguing about
was petty.
Very petty. Now, when I say choosing me, I chose a life because I know what I deserve. Been in school all my life, I deserve better, right? But when you choose to have a family with someone, right? Mm-hmm. You definitely taking a risk because you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
But I was only married a year.
Only a year?
Yeah. I was only married a year now. Yeah, look better. I was only married a year.
Wow.
So, and again, not knowing, my dad died young, so I didn't have a man's man saying, hey, yo, you ain't gotta do that, or you ain't gotta get married, or just take care of your kids. I didn't have that. So, the advice, I don't want to say, I was guided in a way where doing the right thing, you get someone pregnant, you marry them, right? You get them pregnant twice, you definitely got to marry them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, we had 2 kids so quick, you're like, yo, man, what is going on? And now everything's a hurry-up process. Got to get a house, got to get this, got to get that. We were ready because we were young. And I was so ambitious, so I knew how I wanted my life to be.
Yeah. So as an adult, as your kids as an adult, they have to be able to say that I understand, because like I said, my nephew, he was a product of that, and he was always talking negative about his dad. I'm like, son, let me tell you something. You will become what you despise if you're not careful, because you don't know the thought process and what your mom and dad had decided to do and what he had to do. So, and came back around. You have a son now. Oh, and he's dealing with the baby mother.
Yep.
And he's feeling the struggle of not being able to see his kids, and now his attitude toward fatherhood has changed because he knows that he is helpless.
Because he's living in it now.
He lives in South Carolina, his kids in Mississippi, and if she say no, then guess what?
It's no.
It's no. And if he says anything to his kid, guess who benefit off of it? So he has to understand that when your daddy decided to walk away, like you said first, you had to choose you.
You have to choose you.
And I know, my family, I know my sister, I'm like, if this man had to do this for him or whatever, then that's what the decision he made.
That's right.
So instead of like persecuting the person or just, judging them, and then try to take a step back and put yourself in issues and say, would you have stayed if it was somebody else? Put your kids in your shoes. I had to think about y'all. Because if I would have stayed with, I would have probably ended up being in jail. I'd have to kill somebody.
See, crazy, right? So that's the part I didn't want. I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I lose it all. And one thing a black man cannot lose is his freedom.
Can't, man. Can't. That's the hardest thing.
So when I say choose me, that's what I'm talking about. Choosing my life, choosing my career, choosing my way of life. Establish yourself financially and career-wise and say, hey, all right, I make this. I can definitely take care of them and her, right? But I'm moving on. And in the process, you go back and you allow your kids to be a part of that process. One thing, adjustment disorder is real. So when your kids have to adjust to a divorce, that's real. So adjustment disorder, that's a real thing? That's a real diagnosis, adjustment disorder, right? So imagine this, you're married, you live with your mother and father, when you come home from school, your dad is gone. He done moved to DC, right? You gotta adjust to dad not being there. Now you mad at mom because dad gone. You mad at dad because you left your mom, right? Then your dad gets another relationship. Now you gotta adjust to the new woman. And if she has a child or not, you gotta adjust to that. So now you're adjusting that. Also, you're adjusting to incomes in the home. Now it's only one. You're adjusting to maybe having 3 or 4 cars. Now you're down to 1. So the kid is adjusting. The mother's adjusting too, but the kid is adjusting because, again, he has no power or control over the situation. And now, what's he going to do? He's going to act out. So if you don't act out at home, he's going to act out in school. He's going to act out in society or in the neighborhood. He's a different dude. So now his mindset is different. Now, mentally, he's like, you know what? I'm the head of the household now. I'm the man of the house. So now you become defiant and oppositional. So now you take it out on your mom, or you take it out on your brother and your sister. So all of a sudden, the person you projected to be, now you're a different dude, because now you're hard, now you're angry, now you're frustrated. And now, again, you're not even sharing these thoughts, because you're keeping everything inside. And it builds up until you explode. So with my oldest son, when he started doing the movies with me, that's when I started hearing his testimony, how frustrated and angry, and he would tell me, but the way he was telling me was disrespectful. Hence, anger issues, right? And I was like, well, damn, I got your TV, right? I sent your mama money. I was at the basketball game. Nah, man, you left us. That's all he said, you left us.
That's like that right there, that cut like a knife, right?
You left us.
That cut like a knife.
That's it.
And he don't understand he don't understand the terms of you and your wife relationship, and that maybe you didn't leave, maybe you was put out, or maybe
Don't matter.
they don't know that.
You ain't there.
Yeah.
And then he getting the other side of the story, right? So when I tell you, he did a podcast, Lipstick Dialogues, last year. No, it was this year. He was sharing stuff on the podcast he never told me, so I'm watching it live like everybody else, and it hurt. I mean, well, it shocked me because he never shared it with me. But he kept looking at the camera. Well, my dad was there. He said, but he never heard this, and he was sharing it to the world. But yeah,
Wow.
and I was like, wow. But see, that's what I'm saying. You don't know what your kids are going through because as they get older, they're able to express themselves as adults about their childhood and their experiences and their trauma. That's the thing. We don't know because we're doing our own thing. We're going through our own stuff.
Yeah.
And as adults, going through our stuff becomes priority. But what I've learned, like now, I check in with them all the time. Because see now, let me rewind. You don't have to go through a third party because once society, right? But no, when society changed and everybody got cell phones, that's when everything changed. I don't have to go through mom to talk to her. Talk to them. I can talk to them directly.
Yeah.
So that also incorporates a lot of bonding. So I was like, oh, what's going on now? Now the adults, they share things with me. They may not share with their mom, but see now, because the relationship with me and mom has gotten better, so now I call and say, hey, did Xavier share this with you? Or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, blah, blah. Now we're on one accord. But see, the maturation process is as important as men, because again, if I knew what I know now, like I said, maybe I could communicate what was frustrating me about the relationship then, the correct way, instead of yelling and screaming. Maybe we could have found a common denominator, common ground to keep the family together. But back then, I chose me. So I was like, you know what? I just paid child support. I'm gonna go move to DC. I'm just gonna pay and work hard and be with my kids. But nah, they said, dude, we want your time. We want your time. You left us. And every one of them had different emotions about it. Because when you talk to them individually, now you see the anger and the frustration about you leaving. So you got to reestablish and reestablish that relationship with your kids. And I do it every day. And I do it, everybody got their own time. Like my oldest son, I spend time with him. I might have to go to Greensboro and spend time with my middle son. I might have to fly to California and spend time with her. I got to do that because they all deserve their individual time with me, if they like it or not. That's why I have these movie premieres, and I celebrate them. And I tell them, y'all ass better be there. You gotta come. We're in a business together, but these fans are gonna help me understand my decision making. It wasn't malicious. It's real, man. We got real emotions here. I'm not gonna be the dude stay in a relationship until they're 18, 19 years old, then they leave, and I got all these regrets. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm 52, and I've been sitting on the couch, mad. But no, I was proactive. I took my career. I said, hey, I want to be a movie star. I want to write films. I want to have my own private practice. I want to go to the gym and work out 3-4 times. I chose me. And once you do that, now everything else has to fall into that window. And that window of opportunity closes real quick. Because a lot of people choose the relationship, man, they do not get the opportunity to be who they're supposed to be or have their purpose in life. They don't get the opportunity to have that purpose, whatever their purpose would have been. So many people, if you look at the actors, the comedians, they always talk about their pain. Their pain fueled their success. The Steve Harvey, the Kevin Harts, the Will Smiths, the Eddie Murphys, even the athletes, Michael Jordan, right now, Tom Brady. That stuff fuels you to be great because you sacrifice so much. You give yourself to the world so much, you forget your own family. I'm pretty sure Tom Brady, playing 20-some years, he's going to have a lot of regrets as his kids get older. Then they're going to tell him to his face how much they hate him. That's real talk, right? Yeah. They're going to say, Tom Brady, you weren't there. My mom raised us. Well, it's, when you're rich like that.
Got a nanny.
The nanny raised us.
Yeah, the nanny.
Yeah. The nanny was there, Tom. But that's what happens. But once you understand, like, hey, man, I got to sacrifice something because it's not going to be perfect. And I just chose to do it at a young age, and I had my kids in my 20s. So when I left at 29 years old, I said, you know what? I got this big world to accomplish my goals, then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to give it all to them. And when I say I give it all to them, I'm leaving everything in them. They're the beneficiaries. That's the game, right? But I don't have LeBron James money, but I'm pretty sure LeBron's doing the same thing. Generational wealth. You guys, you was born, I mean, you're a seed of James, right? Mm-hmm. You already got the gift. The gift is height. I'm giving you the gift, right? Now, LeBron James knows who his father is. There's some 6'10", 6'9" dude walking around Cleveland. They know. LeBron daddy right there, right? But he left. Bill James said goodbye. And she sacrificed her life to raise who?
Them kids.
Him. Yeah. To be great. And that's what I did. I said, you know what? Yeah, I commend her mom, raising them every day. She did a great job. And when we see each other, it's like we were great parents because we lived through their success. No problem. They didn't have no problems. They were good kids. Well, they had some issues in through that school journey, but they're very successful. And yes, she did her part, but I did my part as well. And we're going to share in their success. But there's no more placing blame. And I got past that. Like, I'm not blaming anybody. We made a decision. Well, I made a decision. I'm like, hey man, I'm not doing this. I'm not arguing with you every day. I'm not doing that. I didn't go to A&T to graduate to argue with you every day. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but
man, this is some good stuff, brother. I mean, how much do you charge for a session?
That's a great question.
I'm about to give everybody your cash app. This is this is a real therapy session, and you all are witnessing it for the first time inside a day. So drop your cash app, send this man some money. He deserves it. Doing what he's doing, man. This is a nice story, man. This is a nice story. Let me ask you. So you want to talk about this book?
Okay. This is about to be the hater. His anger teaches everybody reality. This is an anti-bullying curriculum. All right. So this book here is about for school personnel to find out if your students are bullies or not. So find out if they're being bullied or if they're the bully. So it's assessment tools to identify who the bullies are in your class versus the kids that's being bullied. So I wrote that during the pandemic.
Okay.
So it's a good tool for individuals that feel like, hey, I can't go to my teacher, or I feel like, hey, if I share this information with you, I'm gonna be bullied or beat up or whatever. This will give the teachers a tool to identify and see those red flags to the kids in their classrooms being bullied. And then going through the process of getting them help.
So I've never seen an actual workbook.
Yeah, that's
what I mean. So that's a workbook stuff, man. It's a workbook. So talk to me about some of your up and coming projects, man. What's next in your life, man? And just give us some insight if you can.
So I'm waiting on me and Mr. Antonio here. We're gonna do something in the next 2 months.
Soulfvl Designs. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
what y'all working on, man? What y'all working on behind the scenes, man? What's Soulfvl Design working on behind the scenes? All right, you know what I mean? What y'all working on, man?
So yeah, we're working on something. Be North Carolina A&T State University, so we're looking forward to that. Like I said, I'm working with Terry on our new comedy stand-up docu-film. I'm waiting on you, Terry, as I said before. I'm still writing. I definitely want to do some type of action drama. I got ideas, I've been writing it, but I got to make sure I capitalize on my projects that's already out. Dumpster Diver will be on Amazon Prime real soon. We just uploaded that, and then we're still waiting on Tubi. So yeah, so that's 2 projects coming in the next 6 months.
That's awesome. Well, if you are interested in joining my team,
absolutely.
Like I said, I have my own network on Roku TV.
Okay.
Lions Pride View. I'm looking for some content creators to bring over to my network. And then you can actually have all your content on there, and you can sell ad spaces to people that want to promote their business. Definitely want to do that show through your stuff. So you're definitely welcome to join us, man. We're working on a book as well next year. Come out right before the movie, Pride of the Lion. Like I said, you inspired me to do that. And we're on some things. We're gonna partner up, man. I love this space. Y'all enjoying this everything? I love this. I love the space, man. My man came down and really showed love, man. And I just want to share you with the rest of the world. I know you have your own platform and things, but you know you have people in different areas that you're not in. Yeah. And this has been a very informative conversation, man. It was therapy for me. I'm asking questions like, hey, I got a friend of a friend of a friend. Yeah. Hey, man. Real quick, if Graham and Clark LLC, if you want to refer to me for therapy, individual therapy, my number is 919-710-7332. Just give me a call if you want me to do substance abuse treatment or any behavioral therapy. Also, my email address is gmccounseling@yahoo.com. Email me if you have any questions about treatment. Also, I'm an SAP substance abuse provider for the Department of Transportation. So therefore, if you are a truck driver out here and you failed your drug screen, please give me a call. I will get your CDLs back. Wow, that's a huge plug. Yes, there's a lot of people that dealing with that, and I'm very well connected networking wise. So we can definitely get this out to some people, man, that need your help, and your phone will be blowing up soon. One last bit of business before we say goodbye is I started this tradition last season on the show. I would hand out a T-shirt just for thanking people to coming out and showing love, and it's just a way to just commemorate the time that we had on the show. So every time you put this shirt on, you want to know that you was inside the den. And this is done by Soulfvl Designz. This is part of my new clothing line that we just came out with. So Inside the Den is now officially a clothing line. Okay. Soulfvl Designz is the brains behind the designs and all the different shirts. So live on the show, Dr. Terrence, brother, thank you for coming and spending your time with us, man. Yes, sir. You have your very own piece of merchandise that we have here, and that's your color. So, any final thoughts, man? Any final thoughts before we say goodbye, man? I know I don't want to hold up too much of your time. No, man. My final thought is always use your platform to enhance, inspire, and motivate people to be great. There are a lot of stories out there to be told. If you feel that you have a story that's going to inspire the world, call me. If you want a documentary done on your life or someone, a loved one, get in contact with me. I will be glad to sit down with you and come up with a concept that will be very beneficial to both parties. 5 Foot Productions is definitely in the building. We're trying to grow. I'm really excited about what's to come and developing new partnerships. I'm welcoming new partnerships. That's awesome, man. I would love to partner with you and share at the same time and do some collaboration as a team, because I believe that we have a platform that we can really change a lot of lives and work on some things. So I'm definitely super excited about it, brother. Everything you got coming in the future, man, I'm excited about it, brother. I stand behind everything you're doing for the community, for the people, man. We love it. Soulfvl Designer in the house. The Lions Pride, Positive Lion LP Consulting Agency, we in the building. But that's our time. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of Inside the Den. This is your boy Daniel Lyndon Evans, and you heard it from the Den.
Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I'm a lion and ain't nothing but anything. We on fire and my brothers, they on fire too. And we'll fight for each other, that's what Lions do.
Progression of the team is the purpose of our devotion. You can see that we've been working and really having some motion. None of it was given, you know that we had to hustle. And that's just how it is when you coming up out the struggle. They say it takes a village when you raising a child. And they all turn into your family after a while. We gotta feed into each other, show love to one another. Not a race, but I know we can all finish the mile. When we step up in the den, you letting go of your past. You the only person that can really hold yourself back. The pride and strength of a lion is truly a match. Everybody has it when you a part of the pack. Now this ain't the type of place that'll judge you for who you are. We just get you on your way to becoming a superstar. I told you once before and I can tell you again. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just trying to win. What's up?
Brothers need to stick together. As a team we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel. Just tell me if it's real. Brothers need to stick together. As a team we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Tell me how you feel.
Just tell me if it's real.